you can't allow that kind of fakery. And with AI and the way the videos are easy to fake now,
here's the point: is like who's going to make that decision? People in power who control political speech now, and it's not going to stop. Oh, this is an overt call to violence. It's going to be, oh, this is a dangerous story to allow to run in an election season for the Democrats. Pull that.
So how do you feel about book banning? That's good though, right?
Some books.
No, so like you need to make sure that kids aren't exposed to explicit sexual material. For sure.
So like public libraries, where are we on that?
Like if like an adult wants to rent a book, go for it. Like, but no, you can't give blowjob.
Well, you don't rent them
to 6-year-olds.
That's the beauty of the library. No rent is required. They just let you take it.
Okay, I can see that. So at the library, you just maybe put ratings on books like movies have, and then card the people checking the books out.
Yeah, probably the same way.
Yeah,
it's not that difficult just to keep explicit sexual material. On the internet, totally different story. It's really difficult to keep that out of kids' hands. But like physically, it shouldn't be a big challenge to keep physical, explicit sexual material out of kids' hands.
What about violence?
What do you mean?
Is that something we should keep away from kids too? Books that have like war and murder?
Only if it's the instructions on how to commit murders.
Yeah, if it's like encouraging it, then yeah, of course.
Because the books that we don't like about sex are often step by step how to eat another man's asshole, and we're like, hey, he's 8. He's 8.
What book is that? I just asked.
What if I add? I need. That's what we need. We need.
Could you send that to me, Kyle?
we need those books.
Yeah, where are your guys' prop books? I bought the weird 17th century phrenology thing. And
wouldn't you love it if somebody like Hutch was like, that book that you're describing, it doesn't exist, and you could just be like, here it is, and you get open to a bookmarked page. We have to blur out, and yeah.
You can't. This stuff's gross.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to own a book like that. Even describing what that book is sounds like maybe I should be carded. Oh, you don't need this.
as online internet silly billies, I think all of us should come down on the side of free speech absolutism and err on that side, or at least I always try to. Like if someone is doing something I don't like I just have free speech is there for the weirdos and the conspiracy theorists and the people on the fringes. No like MAGA boomer needs, like, he's not using like real free speech pushing the limits by being like Kamal's a Chinese agent, or some Democrat being like Orange Man bad. Like that's completely within the realm of what's acceptable. Like you need people on the fringes pushing and keeping it active, keeping it like a bit of a pushback to the status quo. Like you don't want everyone forced into silos where you have like a very narrow agreeability window.
I think it's better before everybody could talk to everybody. The interconnectivity of the internet is a problem. The masses should be kept in their place.
There's better pre-smartphones. The internet was funnier.
I wish in Roman times when you could just bribe them a little bread and a good show at the arena and everything would be fine again.
I would say mainstream, most of these people are like, we don't want this being taught to our kids. We don't want these conversations being had in secret with our children. Without us knowing about it. And it's known that like these school districts try to keep it under wraps. Like they don't promote this stuff. Like there's a reason, like you can see clips of like a frustrated parent going in and being like, show it on the projector, show what this book is. And they're like, no, we're not going to show it right now. It's like, you're showing it to our kids. You're reading this to our children. You're not showing it right now. Like, and that's so I empathize with parents who are like, yeah, you're trying to supersede my influence as a parent, and I'm not cool with that. Yeah, the state does not get to decide what my child, their gender.
There's such a tricky balance, though, right? Like, for example, Florida's "Don't Say Gay" thing is now extended to 12th grade to 18-year-olds.
Good.
That's a little long to not cover like sexuality.
They do cover sexuality.
If any of those kids want to get into Harvard, they need to start cracking the books and stop worrying about the flags because the emissions just tightened up.
Sex ed is supposed to be about STDs.
Yeah, right.
No,
like that's what it's about.
That.
Condoms and STDs. You don't teach people how to give head and like in sex ed.
That's for Male Monday.
You teach them. Yeah, that's for Male Monday. You teach kids like here's a danger
my childhood. There you go.
And you don't teach kids this. Kids don't need to
talk
know
about catching some strays. Well, maybe we need to. Never mind.
There's no reason to like keep a kid from their innocence.
So
you don't need to know that.
I'm kind of with you. Like you don't teach kids how to give head, right? But you do need to teach kids enough that they can identify good touch and bad touch. one of the reasons they started teaching sex ed in like 4th grade was so the kids could recognize if they're being molested.
How about this? Do you think if they said we can teach good touch, bad touch, and STDs, that the left on this issue would go, okay, we're good?
Nope. Because I don't think that's the agenda at all.
And that's not what they're going for.
And the biggest thing that I don't like is that, you know, whether you agree with this or not, your tax dollars are being used to fund it. That's, you know, because the government has a monopoly on school.
And Nick Merck's guy is right. Leave kids alone.
What they want to do is they want to take this. They want equal. They want this book where look, these are the ways sex can be had. Here's what 2% of people do. Here's a whole book about it. We're going to learn about it today.
The scenes you're talking about sound kind of bad. That's never what me or any of my kids saw. So I'm like, it sounds like some place needs to be cleaned up.
Though, right? When your kids were in school and when you were in schools.
I had a friend of mine who is
I'm talking about what I see on the internet.
I had a friend of mine who's on the school board of a place here in Missouri show me like pictures of a book that they were promoting for like 1st graders, and it was unreal. I was like, oh my, I thought this was a California thing. Like I didn't. Until he showed me. I didn't know. And he's one of those guys who's there. He has young kids. He's like me and the rest of the parents there. All of us are on the same page. It is the teachers we are against.
Which is why, like, I feel like, you know, if you're gay, you're gay. Whatever, dude. I don't care. But like,
this is just like the FFA, the Future Farmers of America. They come in on club day. Mm-hmm. All the other clubs, like, you sign up for us, or maybe the FFA. We got free biscuits twice a month. Y'all want free biscuits? Because we got an unlimited biscuit budget over here. We all joined the Future Farmers of America. Poor Chess Club over there. Well, they got some croissants in there.
If you guys have your way with policy, you're going to raise a generation of women that can't suck dick. Do you want to live in that world?
I don't want teaching kids how to have sex.
I don't want a 4th grader who knows how to
do better, Taylor. It's a place of learning.
That's what you want. You want a fresh out of college, fucking 24-year-old teaching your kids about intimate things. Yeah. No.
I mean, that's what I want personally.
Tell me, what's she wearing?
Yeah, it's wild.
24-year-old sex ed teacher, huh?
Yeah.
Like blonde,
her tight skirt, no underwear. That sounds
terrible. That would be like the funniest like creep at a local community college, a guy who never graduates, but he just takes sex ed classes. He's
teaching sex ed in college.
I mean, I guess for this guy, yeah, he's majoring in it.
You just keep failing with that banana. If you could just help me.
If you could just help me. They're like, God damn, you're terrible at this.
I get so nervous around you, Miss Johnson. This is your 6th semester.
You're 41. I know for a fact you're a certified electrician. You don't need a job. You just keep making me explain to you how to eat pussy every week. Every week you raise your hand because you're the only person who takes this class, but it's subsidized by the state. So as long as you're taking it, I make my living. And so it just
you guys all want to live in the world I would create. Thin people learning about sex constantly.
That's what it is. This is a sitcom now. The Perv. It's called The Perv. It's called The Perv, and it's a 61-year-old man who is always talking about the next chapter in his life, but makes no efforts to go there. And he moved right next to the professor. She's in an apartment now. He's in the apartment next to her. His wife still lives at home. It's like a rocky relationship. You know what? I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to write this. This is a good ass idea.
Sell that to Amazon. That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell that to Amazon, or I guess Netflix. Netflix will buy anything.
The funny one.
I keep my ear to those.
Moms for Liberty lady. Moms for Liberty in Florida. The people that want book bans and get rid of gay books broadly, stuff like that. The president, the woman who founded Moms for Liberty, is married to the head or the chair of the Republican Party in Florida. And he got arrested and charged with entrapment and I think a variety of sex crimes because the two of them would stalk women to determine which is the prettiest woman to have a 3-way with. And this was a wholly different crime because he would take pictures of women in private places without their consent and like text them to his wife, like, hey, is this one good for a gangbang or whatever? So they were pretty frequently engaging in homosexual sex despite trying to get those books banned. But where this goes off the fucking rails, okay? There's nothing wrong with having a threesome now and then. This guy invited one of these women to come have a threesome with him and his wife. She shows up. The wife isn't there. It's just him, and he looks like he's one drink away from like liver cancer. Big, fat, beer belly, probably smells like whiskey. Not a pleasant looking guy. Woman shows up and says, you know, I really wasn't here for this. I was going to like kind of deal with you. I really want to fuck your wife or whatever. And she tries to leave. He says no. And he like stops her and beats her and tries to force himself on her. And he gets hit with, I believe, a rape and an imprisonment charge as he had to step down from being the head of the Republican Party in Florida. His wife was originally getting no charges because she was just off. She wasn't there for this. Mm-hmm. But then investigators discovered that he sent her a shit ton of text messages of pictures of women that probably like not in public, not in places they would have consented to being filmed and stuff. So there's like this weird like wiretapping kind of charge or like spying thing going on. It was fucking wild. But
the
it was
pictures
hilarious.
were like covert nudes, or they were?
No, they weren't like covert nudes. It's like he would go to a bar or a club or like a convention and just like take pictures of women not paying attention. Hey, should I ask this one out? Do you like this one's ass? This one's got good titties, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was illegal.
Well, if you're not, sometimes being in a private space, the rules change a little bit. It's different when you're on the street, like at a public event. So I'm not super sure about all that, but there was an additional charge with that. And the ironic thing is between these two people, they were fighting very hard to get immoral books banned, especially books about homosexual sex. And they're engaging in
Were they trying just to be good faith in it? Were they trying to ban those books outright, or just keep them out of access of children?
I think that's one of those things where, like, if you look at what they say, they would probably say keep it out of access of children. But when you be real about what they would ask for, how hard they would push, or how wild things would get, it would be pretty obvious there would be a push to get rid of them. Like,
did they try to ban them off Amazon or out of children's libraries?
Out of libraries in general, out of colleges, out of schools. Right. It's kind of like how a Democrat would say, you know, I don't believe in banning guns, but I think there should be, you know, stricter gun control. And if you capitulate to that, they'll roll it out to something very extreme that is essentially a gun ban. Basically, that same kind of attitude toward those books.
I don't think they would ban it for adults. There's like fucking a third of the Republican Party has to be gay.
Yeah,
like they're all doing a bunch of nonsense behind the scenes. But I totally am in favor of not putting those books in front of kids.
This is 100%. One of those right wing things I'm so on board with, because the left will be like, no, they hate gays so much they don't want anyone to be gay. They don't want anyone to know what it is. It's like, no, we genuinely don't give books that instruct my 8-year-old how to suck a dick of his friend. Don't put those in his library. I want to teach him about sex myself, because I'm his parent. And just like his religious teaching, I don't want the fucking 10 Commandments on his wall either. Where is that? Louisiana just did that?
Texas.
I don't want that either.
But I think it's misleading to pretend that the Republicans are only trying to keep it out of the eyes and arms of children, right? W tried to make it a constitutional amendment to have gay marriage illegal.
What year is it?
Yes.
Yeah, right. That wasn't that long ago. But even more recently,
Obama wouldn't.
Remember where the left was back then on gay marriage.
The left was like further right than the Republicans now back then.
The left was not further right than the Republicans in W's time. Or
the left
W's time. I was thinking like the 60s.
The left in W's time were against gay marriage.
The left, Obama was the one that let gays serve in the military. Clinton is the one that put don't ask, don't tell.
I've heard people saying they don't think Biden's going to run when I suggested that Biden. When I started talking about how Biden and Trump match up hypothetically or whatever, they're like, "You think Biden's running?"
He announced. I think it's official.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know that all of that, but what they think is that is a deception.
Ah.
What I'm worried.
I mean, he could easily, like, when it's time, be like, you know, for health reasons, I've decided I'm going to bow out of this, and I want to put all my faith and confidence behind X, Y, and Z.
I would be worried about him handing the torch over to Gavin Newsom.
I think that's most likely.
If it was going to be somebody, I think Kamala can't carry more than 20
she can't
points.
Win.
She's very unlikable.
She won't get selected.
There's a reason we haven't seen her for a while. I think she's getting booted out because she just.
I think she'll be selected as VP again.
Candidates,
and I don't know how much she helps or hurts. I mean, I just don't know. Like, does she help with the female vote? Does she help with the black vote?
Who?
Kamala.
Kamala.
Oh no, she's just not likable, and she tried so desperately to pivot to this like progressive, like hardline lefty progressive, and it's like, no, your entire like career was locking people up for weed and shit. Like, it's not, and just because you're like,
right?
I'm just laughing like Hillary Clinton.
Everything you're saying is right, but like, so I follow politics a lot. Like every day, I devote like an hour to it or something stupid, and I wonder. Like, it's easy for someone like me to place way too much emphasis on some current event when in reality it's totally forgotten in history. And it's really all about branding and vibe when it comes down to getting voted for.
See, that's what Trump would do. He'd call out moments like this on a debate stage. Like you'd be surprised that he's bringing up something that everybody's talking about, but he's not sticking to his speaking notes and his canned replies to X, Y, and Z question. When he'd go off script and start picking at them on something like this, like if you in a vice presidential debate, that's what I do. I talk, like, especially if you had a VP from a state with legal marijuana who could stand behind that and go after her record on marijuana from the right, you destroy her. You destroy her.
I don't think anybody is like, or I'm probably wrong, but like, who's that amped up over Trump at this point? Like he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything in office. He didn't really do much of anything.
So I agree. He passed a tax cut. That's a signature thing.
Didn't start any wars.
Tax cut didn't start wars. Supreme Court.
A good bit of his foreign policy and stuff, and like there's especially his first like.
Oh, do you like the Supreme Court? We're just going to rattle that one off like it's nothing.
I listed that.
The Supreme Court is like getting a legendary, unique item on your first day. It's paying dividends every fucking day for the next 30 fucking years, Taylor.
Getting a legendary ancient item.
6 presidents from now, Trump will be deciding what's going on in this country. The people he chose will be. 6 presidents from now, that'll be happening.
I don't think that's true.
Not 6 from now.
It's only 24 years. I'm just,
well, no, because they're going to average.
They double,
6 or 8 years.
But so what, Brandon? Because Brandon was saying it, he didn't start any new wars. That's like probably the best thing he did is not get us involved in endless proxy fights.
Yeah, and his first 100 days are pretty good with some of his executive action. As much as I'm not a fan of executive action as a whole, some of his stuff like rolling out to organizations like ATF, EPA, whatever. Like, hey, if you're going to add a new regulation, you got to take out 2. Choose any 2. Like a little shit like that, like reining in the government a little bit. I'm like, all right, I can be down for that. Like he was kicking ass for a while, and then he just ran out of fucking steam and started focusing on shit I may not agree with.
Yeah, I remember people making fun of that, and it's like, no, unironically, that's a great thing. Like you think that bureaucrats whose entire job is to create bureaucracy don't over-bureaucrat things. Like, of course they do. There's way more that needs to be there. Like simplify it, make it simpler, easier.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
What are you going to say? There's zero waste?
Anytime you can simplify any system and keep it as effective, it's a benefit.
Yeah, sure.
So I think there's people who are really excited about Trump, although I don't think it's for the reasons that we're talking about. I think the people who are really excited about Trump probably just like him as a man.
Or they just hate the Democrats and the left so much. Like there's a lot of that where they're like, I don't want fucking this being taught to my kids.
A lot of times they hate the flag bearer.
A lot of times they hate a fake version of the Democrats, which is a frustration I have. Like mainstream Democrats are not trans people participating in girls' sports. That's a really weird, odd case that gets way more attention than it deserves. Mainstream Democrats weren't for Sharia law 4 years ago when that's all they talked about. It seems like they drum up make-believe lefty that everybody hates. Well, the trans thing is a good example. That gets way more attention than it really should.
I agree.
I mean, it gets attention.
I think we all agree.
It should,
way more attention than it should.
Yeah, there's no reason to have it that much attention. But like, parents are obsessed with it because they have a strong opinion about their kids in school. Like,
I think people are currently obsessed with it because certain media organizations beat the anti-trans drum every single day, and they make it seem like trans people, they're everywhere. Check your couch cushions. There's trans people. They're trying to make your kids trans. There's teachers trying to brainwash your kids. And
I think it's also like shit like Pride Month and whatnot, where like everybody's changing their shit. There's flags everywhere. It's like it's the most in your face that it's ever been. At least that, you know, it's my experience this year. Like it's well, it's kind of everywhere. Yeah. And then you'll have that, and then you'll have the dissenters commenting on that, and you're just kind of creating this perpetual media cycle of people getting mad at shit.
Like that wasn't a joke. That we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. That was literally at the Pride Parade. Every time I see an image, it's naked men around children, and they're not just naked standing there. They're like twerking, or they've got like cock rings on, or they're selling. What was the one I saw? Oh, check your moles. These naked guys are standing there amongst the children. They're come on, get your moles checked. I don't think you're qualified, sir.
No, it's like, you know what, dude, be gay if you want to be. Dude, I don't give a fuck. Two consenting adults, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care. But like, you start coming after kids like that, it's like, ooh, the wood chipper's getting real hungry.
Even Republicans, I don't think hate gay people anymore. That's a little 15 years ago. It's really the trans people. Well, you're right. Some do.
They said that abortion should be, you know,
rare
and rare.
That's Obama.
We're talking about gay people. I don't know.
Yeah, we can
we're just talking about issues on general and like touching points.
The idea that like a Democrat, like Obama's social position.
You're arguing that Republicans are more for gay rights than Democrats.
No, I'm saying that I'm very clearly stating that Obama in 2008 was more right wing on things like abortion and gay marriage than the Republicans even are now, outside of a handful of them, like that Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Obama was thoroughly moderate.
Who's trying to get rid of gay marriage now?
Bro, in Texas, at the DNC, they had like some 12-year-old girl from Kentucky. They got raped by her stepdad that was forced to give birth. Obama wasn't on that train in 2008. Are you smoking crack?
Obama said that abortion should be legal and rare. And now the current Democratic position is like it should be a celebrated thing. He also said that abortion is something between really?
It is. He's right.
He is not right. No one's saying abortion
celebrated
should
my
be a
ass.
Yes, they are.
celebrated thing.
Absolutely, they are.
I mean, I'm sure you can find some wackadoo at a parade and fucking chaps that might say that, but
I've seen Democratic speakers take the stage and say, it's great to be here in San Francisco, the city where I had my first abortion, and the crowd goes wild. They're like, yeah, your first one right here.
I've literally never seen this.
Well, of course,
I'd love to see it. Show it to me.
Plant.
I feel like maybe you're taking some like wacko off to the side. I don't take Marjorie Taylor Greene and pretend that she's the mainstream of the Republican
she gets voted in every year. She's she represents a lot of.
She's the mainstream of Livonia, but I don't.
I mean, like her.
That's not their district. That's a different district.
That's a different district.
All right, but like I look at Trump as the leader of the Republican Party, and right now I look at Harris or Biden as the leader of the Democratic Party, and they're not celebrating this stuff. They're not up there saying that abortion should be a really good thing. They're saying they should be rare and legal.
They certainly don't say it should be rare. Like that's just not a thing that's said among mainstream Democrats anymore.
That is the position of Democrats forever. And still
the words they use.
So you think in 2024 the position of Democrats is that abortion is a thing that should be very rare?
Yeah, I do. And they're saying that unplanned pregnancies are always bad. People who have abortions and everything goes like right, it's still a traumatic event.
That's just not in line with what they speak and how they
probably speak differently because they're having to fight tooth and fucking nail to maintain that right, because the Republicans would happily make children that get raped by their parents give birth.
How about we allow abortions in that instance, but as a whole we don't allow it? Would you be okay with that?
That would be a lot less bad, but that's not what's on the menu right now.
So you would be amicable, like you'd be agreeable to that, like getting rid of abortion in terms of convenience?
Did you know Planned Parenthood
I always feel like arguing these corner cases are like, so both sides do this thing that frustrates me. The Republicans, and I'll get to the Democrats too, the Republicans pretend that people are having like abortions in the 9th month. Donald Trump literally goes up in his rallies and say they birth the babies, they take them out and they put a knife in their skull and do like a 9.5-month abortion. He says 2 weeks after they're born, they abort the kid. That's bullshit. The Democrats act like abortion is mostly in the case of rape, incest, and health of the mother. I think we should all just tell the truth and be like, mostly this is about people who got pregnant and don't want kids. And the question is, should we force parents who don't want their children to keep them? And Taylor phrases that as a convenience thing. But really, we're talking about kids who are going to be probably neglected and mistreated by their parents. They're not financially capable of having children. It's going to be an unsuccessful, broken home. Do you think those homes should have children?
I don't think that the alternative is killing the kids. I think that's wrong.
I have one thing. Do you know Planned Parenthood set up outside the DNC right now, giving free abortion pills and vasectomies out?
No,
they're giving out vasectomies.
Yes,
well,
because they celebrate
surgery right there outside the DNC, a vasectomy surgery. They're giving them out.
They celebrate abortion, and yes, it is true.
Planned Parenthood spends like 5% of its money on abortion services and 95% of it on free reproductive health care stuff for poor people.
No, that's not the money they spent. It's the procedures they perform. And they isolate a lot of those. They do, yes. And when they say that 5% of their procedures are abortions, what they're doing is they're counting a lot of little things as additional procedures. I saw that too, and I used to believe that.
Whoa, there's hold up, this
almost seems
wild.
Celebratory, right?
This whole website is about abortion. This is a bullshit source.
Oh, hang on,
dude. There's a truck outside the DNC.
Hang on, I'll get another source.
Like every one of these things is like trashing the Democrats and abortion. If you
I'm gonna do my little searching too. I'm just imagining somebody set up a free vasectomy tip.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny, they try to phrase at the beginning, they're like, are they giving out free abortions at the DNC? Clinic. Donald Trump says so. Here's a fact check. We're giving out abortion pills and performing vasectomies in the parking lot.
Fact check just triggered. Bill Clinton went up there and he said in the last 16 years, America's made 51 million jobs. 50 under Democratic presidents and 1 under Republican.
Real quick.
And he's like, hold on. He's like, I had to fact check that 3 times. And it's true. So I was like, all right, I need to fact check it. True.
In the last 20 years?
Yeah.
16, I think.
16. Okay, well, there's been one president that's Republican in that
I think we're counting Reagan, Bush,
and it happened during...
maybe it's 20 then? I could check it out.
Yeah, because and that also happened during COVID where we lost all the jobs. Certainly a realistic stat there. But we were talking about like the abortion being lauded as like a good thing. And Kyle just came up with a concrete example of it happening concurrently right now at the DNC. So are you saying that doesn't happen and that's not a position of theirs?
I don't think it's a celebratory thing. Even the article you linked, there was a guy talking about how he's already had 3 kids and he can't afford anymore. So getting a vasectomy made sense, but he couldn't even afford the vasectomy. So now the free vasectomy van is somehow a good offer for him. And I think that Democrats want
they're giving out abortion pills out front of the DNC.
Yes.
And you're saying that that's not advocating and celebrating that. And I say that's
advocating maintaining.
You got a problem with day after pills? By the way, it was since 1989, 51 million jobs.
Because there's a movement right now to ban those pills completely so that nobody can get them anywhere, regardless of circumstances.
Well, let's not go that far.
This is like a DNC counterculture.
How about I get 2 or 3?
And I agree with Woody. If you read the book Freakonomics, which was written by some fantastic economists, they, I think, quite correctly posit that the crime wave of the 80s and early 90s, the RoboCop era craziness, was because abortion was illegal in the 50s, 60s, and some part of the 70s. So women were forced to have a bunch of children that they didn't want to have. They weren't financially prepared for. There was a bunch of kids that were neglected, abused, and not good for shit. And when that happens, crime rates in the society fucking skyrocket. I mean, like RoboCop was supposed to predict the future because crime rate was just going up like fucking infinitely. And then suddenly it stops and it curves back down. And that tracks almost exactly with when parents had abortion rights and would then abort kids that they couldn't afford or didn't want. With less unwanted kids, crime goes down.
Yeah, it's correlation. Wrong.
Correlation isn't causation, but interesting. Black women have 5 times as many abortions as men. And you're saying when there were no abortions, that we had a massive crime rate wave.
Well, it's racist and it's also wrong to abort.
Are you telling me abort racist?
Aborting any baby is wrong. Like you're killing.
What about Hitler, baby?
Well, you don't know what he's going to be until
we know though. All right, it's got
later. Taylor's pro Hitler. Yep. That's what I'm getting from this.
Well, how about this? How about we let him in art school and shit works out?
All right, Taylor. What about an ectopic pregnancy?
Yeah, if it's for the life of the mother, 100%. Like you should.
What if the baby is horribly disfigured and deformed and will be born without eyes in their head, and they're going to live for about 48 hours and suffer unimaginable pain and then die no matter what the fuck you do?
Yeah, and I think that's a good example of a time where it might be necessary, or where it is necessary, because that baby's going to die outside the womb, and it would be a traumatic, horrible experience for that mother to have to give birth to a dead baby or a dying baby. But what you correctly pointed out earlier is these examples you're using are not representative of the overall issue, and so that's
I'll use a more real one then. Okay, let's say there's a chick in college.
Two people have sex.
Two people have sex. Some woman in college. She's working on a science degree. Let's be real generous and progressive here. She gets fucking knocked up at a party. Okay, and she's like, "Fuck, I have a semester and a half left."
A girl in STEM, no one buys this bullshit.
I cannot go to college. I can't go to college and have this baby. I won't get my degree.
Oh my God, you gotta go to college? She has to kill her kid, I guess.
Well, no, you have to go work minimum wage jobs as a fucking wage slave for your whole life and struggle to take care of a kid that has no opportunities.
See, there are infinite programs.
She can abort the baby before it's fully formed, get her fucking degree, go be rich, and then in a couple of years become a good mom that can provide a family.
No, there shouldn't be abortion because it ruins her plans for a frat party. That's ridiculous.
Being the aborted baby and moving on to level
frat party.
You don't get to go to level 2.
Okay, well then, even if it's
for a pretty dishonest response.
Okay, I'll give an honest answer. Prioritizing your fictional career at that point over the life of a baby you just made is wrong.
That's an honest answer.
That's wrong, and it's immoral, and it's killing a child. So that's my position on that. Yeah, I think it's 100% wrong.
Bah, that kid doesn't even know he's a kid.
But it's also
imagine when he gets to level 2 in the game and he doesn't have any XP and he's sitting there like I don't know. I was killed at 4 fucking months in the womb.
Dude, he was fucking spawn camp.
I lost all my runes.
And they're like, damn, those kids come back as dogs.
Dude, that's what they don't tell you. It's like in Sonic. Every time they get portion a bunch of rings.
Yeah. My favorite part about that discussion was at least it was like the real case, right? Like here's a girl in college who's just not prepared to have a kid right now, and yes or no, she's not going to have a good life. This kid probably won't have a good life. Now she's saddled with this single mother problem, and what's the right way to go?
Yeah, it's to let the
there are well-meaning people on both sides of that.
I'll tell you a real story from somebody I know. I'm not going to name their name because that's wrong. Friend of mine. I got him, man. I hope my wife, especially my wife, hope I'm not going too far off. This woman had a boyfriend in high school. They were not responsible. They grew up in a pissant town in the South that had 4,000 people, Bible thumping, no sex education, nothing going on. Everybody dumb as fuck, no jobs. You know the thing. Of course, she got knocked up her junior year. Well, her boyfriend was driving drunk and he flipped his truck and he fucking died. And there she is, pregnant with a baby. Dead boyfriend, living in a small town with 0 jobs. Like half the people plus are on benefits here. You're going nowhere. She decides to abort this baby, and it was a horrible, traumatic experience that gave her real PTSD that she struggled with for years and damaged her reproductive, so it was harder.
I think a lot of mothers
she went on a fucking journey through life, a rough one with some ups and downs, but years later met a very nice man, who's a friend of mine as well. And they eventually moved to a different place. They both got much higher paying jobs, one at a university, one at a dispensary, managing the dispensary, so a little bit better. They got a nice income. And she got pregnant again and gave birth to a beautiful little baby girl. And now that they've got money and they're stable, they're raising this girl. I've been there and visited. They're teaching her things. They're good parents. They're a little hippy dippy, you know the type, but wholesome. They're a part of their kids' lives. The kid's well adjusted. What do you think the outcome would have been if she had kept the baby of her dead boyfriend in the podunk town and went to work at the McDonald's to get just enough money to pay for diapers while staying at her mom's house?
I think you're making a lot of assumptions in that leading question you asked, and the only concrete thing other than the leading question is the only thing we can know 100% that's different is that baby's dead. That's the only thing.
That's true.
That baby was going to do great
and
things.
that is wrong.
Yeah.
That was going to be the next Kamala Harris.
Absolutely. I agree with Kyle.
Could have been. Could have been.
The next president.
With extraordinary improbability, you're talking lotteries here. And the problem with abortion isn't in that particular instance, killing the baby can be wrong in a moral framework. Let's say I agree with you.
Yeah,
but then you have to look at society as a whole, like all of America. And if everybody makes that choice,
why should that
it's like
child,
RoboCop again. There's a whole bunch of stupid people with parents that don't love them doing God knows what out there.
Why should that child be deprived life because of the financial, who knows, insecurity of a parent? Like the idea that, oh, they wouldn't make as much money as they wanted and they wouldn't be able to do as much right away, so we better just kill the baby. Like that's ridiculous. And I used to be pro-choice. And I realized it was entirely out of my own selfish idea of convenience, that if I ever knocked a girl up that I did not want to have a baby with, that I could just be like, oh, well, I'm glad this is a thing. And then in recent years, it's been a thing of like, holy shit, how have I ever been okay with this? Like, this is so obviously wrong to make a decision that leads to a child and then to prioritize your own fiscal health over that of an actual living person. That's
how I feel about chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate's great. I love chocolate.
Chocolate's mostly farmed by those slave boys, though. Those literal slaves being forced to like pick the chocolate beans or wherever chocolate comes from. And
it's one of God's great mysteries.
No one knows where chocolate comes from. Some say it comes out of the ground. But I still eat chocolate, and I don't care. I don't want you to eat chocolate though. So I'm also from that position of selfishness. I wish abortions call it $6,000. All right, you'd have almost none.
Than that. Bullshit. They cost more than that.
What are you talking about?
No,
I've paid for
abortions. Depends on how late, of course, but abortions are expensive.
No, they are not.
I'm gonna Google this and see how wrong I am here.
So wrong. They're $400 or $500.
I line up with Drifter, and
they're like plasma TVs, cheaper every year.
And it comes from an idea of like I am
5 to 800
aspiring to be morally right in the same way that Taylor is aspiring to be morally right. Like, where do we have a better world, a better country, a better universe? One where these unwanted kids get put into what are likely subpar families. It's my take on it. But I can see how a well-meaning person would land in the same place Taylor does, which is like, look, a kid in a subpar family is better than a dead kid. Like,
the dead kid's like, I'd have taken vacations in Myrtle Beach and not Peru.
Like in equal sense to Woody, like
he's British.
Woody is not the kind of person that celebrates abortion as a wonderful thing. Like, you also are trying to come to a good conclusion in the way you see it, and so I don't see it as malicious or evil or anything like that. The way like someone who actively celebrates that I would see as evil, but.
And also,
I just really don't like it.
I still think that, like, especially in this country, like the whole idea is it doesn't really matter where you start. Like I grew up in one of them shitty towns too, and like regardless of the town, some people did well and became doctors and lawyers and scientists and shit, and some people did the other thing. So like starting from shitty beginnings can really toughen you up and make you a driven, hardworking individual.
That's the exception and not the rule.
That's true.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But those, the rules also get to live a life.
Right. But do you make your decisions based on exceptions? I guess sometimes you do.
You were kind of trying to earlier with the whole like incest and like deformed baby.
I was talking
about morality
of abortion.
About the morality, I'll agree with you. I don't think abortion should be celebrated. I don't think it's fun. I don't think people should like getting an abortion. I think when you do that, you have to come to terms with the fact that you ended a human life for some reason, some benefit to yourself or society that you think is worth it. But the reason I brought up those examples is because those are the examples that the current Republican Party is pushing for.
Well, don't word it that way.
Of states. I'll word it however the fuck I want.
You just admitted it's a human life that you're killing.
It is a human life that they're
Your
killing.
side doesn't admit that ever. That's like their no-no part. The no-no.
I'm not on a fucking side. I get stuck on the left-wing side because I'm not. If you're not like sucking Trump's dick right now, you might as well be a communist as far as the split in this country goes. But the reality is that the modern Republican Party in many states does not allow for exceptions of rape, incest, danger to the mother, deformed babies. Like all of that shit is just completely off the table. We're not even at a point where we're discussing Texas, where I live.
Really? No,
yeah, but like the point is that you're not being honest in your assessment of it, because if they made those niche cases that you're addressing totally fine, you still wouldn't be okay with that ruling, which is why I'm saying that it's not an honest assessment.
I would be more okay with it. I wouldn't be as concerned, because there's a difference between this pregnancy is going to kill both the child and the mother, and I'm not ready to be a mother. There's a difference there that I could, work with and live around and makes sense and has a moral framework. But that's not the fucking reality that I'm living in. Right now in Texas, just so you guys know, I'm a goddamn genetic freak, okay? I got my genes tested. I don't actually have any genetic disorders that I'm aware of, but I'm a recessive carrier for everything. Horrible, fucked up shit. The stuff I was talking about, the kids born with no skulls, I'm a carrier for that. My geneticist sat me down, looked me right in the eye, and told me, do not get your wife pregnant until you get her tested too, or make sure that these recessive genes will show up, because it will be horrible.
What?
And if I do that in the state of Texas, and I'm unlucky, and my wife is going to give birth to some Frankenstein baby that might kill her, I don't have other options. I have to send her to the hospital and wait for her to go fucking septic and be on life support to get a surgery that will then kill her and the baby that wasn't going to live anyway. That's the reality I'm living with here in Texas, and people in other states are dealing with that. We're not
Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster.
We're like way beyond talking like morality and like convenience here. We're not. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm getting mad. It's
$6,000 that solves the whole thing. That way we can pop in, have one if we need to. No biggie. But all the others can't, and there won't be so many. And I like that. I like when the punishment for a crime is money.
I don't like it because it makes the families most capable of having the kid the one that doesn't have to.
And that to me makes sense. Because who should have the families but those most capable of having them?
No, anyone should be able to have a family.
Not everyone's
bullshit.
I know.
He's telling a silly thing, but
he's being a silly bitch.
That's what we do here,
dude. There are so many people that should have never had children.
I don't care about those dead babies. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Kyle truly does not give a shit.
I hold a sign outside one of those places with a fetus on it, and then the next day I take my girlfriend there.
So Kyle, I have a question. When I had like the screws removed from my bones and such, they let me keep that hardware. Do you have any like dead fetus souvenirs from No. Oh, that's out of bounds.
What do you think that jacket?
Oh no, it's not out of bounds. I didn't. No, they threw all the toe bones away. I wanted a toe bone necklace, but they said no.
God, we got grim.
Well, anyway,
you got to wait till the 9th month to get those toe bones. That's when they calcify.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
I think we've really got to the bottom of it here and solved a lot of stuff.
Look, you put me in charge of the world. Give me my Homelander skills, and I promise you, there won't be
I don't think Homelander can do it. By the way, I don't think he's powerful enough.
No,
here's why I say
what he can do against like Earth weapons.
But I've seen him like suffer from horrible pain in a burning room. Right? Mm-hmm. Superman can survive the power of the sun directly, right? Homelander can barely take flames from the walls.
But they don't.
Maeve stabbed him in the ear with a piece of metal, and he started bleeding. Like it wasn't even that big a piece of metal.
Yeah, that's a good point. That she stabbed him in the ear, make him bleed. That's kind of fucked up. I think he's strong enough to get the job done because he could be surgical. I don't think he needs to like do war with the war machines and the missiles and the planes and everything. I think he just kind of do a surgical strike and like take out the presidents and the leadership and force them to do what he wants, maybe. Because like if he's not going to show up on the battlefield and be like, all right, what's your biggest weapon? Which one's first? Like he's not going to do that Omni-Man thing, which is Omni-Man was like hit me with whatever you got. Like,
he doesn't
really? That's cool.
Omni-Man is like Superman. He's a bad motherfucker. He doesn't even need to block most of the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has just been fun. I love the abortion talk. I can't wait to share some of these anecdotes with my family and friends later on about abortion. I think we'll have a good rousing discussion. Pick up where we left off here. Is abortion legal in Texas still? What do they do to you guys there?
So yeah, because I know like after Roe v. Wade, everything kind of went back to everybody kind of like every state kind of went back to like being able to decide on their own because like it was no longer a federal thing. Texas, I think, it's still legal up until a point. Like I don't remember exactly where that point is.
That's what we got going on.
Yeah, like everybody's like, oh wow, like they've gone as far as like banning Plan B. It's like nobody's really advocating for that. But
I'm seeing
Plan B
abortions banned in Texas.
At what?
What kind?
It's like at what?
By a 6-shooter. Right. The 6-shooter abortion has been banned in Texas.
So I think it's up to like
because there are too many mothers' deaths.
No one knows how to feel about it.
Here's a different source that says it's banned up until cardiac activity is detected, which is 6 weeks into the pregnancy, which is way sooner than it sounds. I didn't realize. I thought 6 weeks into the pregnancy was 6 weeks after I blew that load. It's not. It's from like the period before. They start the pregnancy before she even had sex. So it's like 3 or 4 weeks after sex. It's really? 6 weeks into the pregnancy.
They count from the first period?
They count from the period of the previous egg.
So is it? Also, is it like the gestation?
You're counting periods twice.
There's 8 periods in a week.
Yes,
but no, that is how they do it. Taylor's right. It goes off the previous period start date. If I the start
end date maybe.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Let me guess.
Wait, who's checking that? Can't the woman just say it was this date? Like,
well, in Texas they go by
search for the heartbeat.
Yeah, in Texas they go by the heartbeat, but that's about 6 weeks into pregnancy, which is about 4 weeks after sex.
You better hope your doctor's hard of hearing.
So, wait, if they're going by heartbeat,
I don't hear
it
nothing.
wouldn't matter the time period.
It wouldn't, right? Texas. In Texas it doesn't. Okay. Other states go by time, not cardiac activity.
Oh, okay. I don't know what Missouri's doing. Probably something awesome. We have the best weed laws, the best gun laws, the coolest state. Don't move here.
I think we do the 6 week thing here, but either way, I would just travel out of state. I think what would be troublesome, and I wouldn't like it all, is if there was any sort of law against leaving your state to seek an abortion elsewhere.
They can't do that. They can't prohibit you from traveling states.
Travel. Yeah,
they're starting to do that now. Texas is after people who travel.
That shit's not going to fly. They are not going to get that.
It'll get tested in courts. I know the answer.
I'm kind of in the same way. Like even taking like the liberal conservative argument out of it, just constitutionally, I'm not sure what the courts would detemine on that because
it used to be illegal.
It's bullshit.
You know how
it's
illegal to transport women from state to state for illegal purposes.
That's true.
For immoral purposes, pardon me. What does the word immoral mean, Taylor? Judge Taylor,
the person who wrote that law means.
That's right, Judge Taylor. It's up to you what the word immoral means.
You're going to watch Chicago Blackhawks game. You're going to jail. Whoa, is that a Patrick Kane jersey? Straight
right in with the pedophile.
Yes. Abortion laws are strict. It has to be a medical emergency.
Oh, okay.
That's the only.
It is. I can't describe an unwanted pregnancy any better than a medical emergency.
If we don't do something, she'll have a baby.
I mean, it could quickly become a different kind of emergency. That sounded
but that shouldn't be the same way.
I didn't mean how that sounded.
You don't know that because of the implication.
I'm not doing anything.
Is it illegal to go into another state and buy weed? No. So you can't be illegal to go there and enjoy another state's rights. Like that's kind of the whole thing we're doing here, right?
Counterpoint: if you come here from South Korea, again, another state, another country, but if you come here from South Korea, fly to a place where it's legal to smoke weed, go back, fail your drug test. It is a crime. You're going to jail because you smoked weed here. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah,
which that's kind of fucking crazy.
That's true.
Really crazy.
Like
South Korea is lame.
Because you can do that. Like you can do that state to state in the U.S. I'm sure. Like
absolutely, yeah. You just can't bring your shit back with you. They don't care for that.
I will say that is the one cool thing about this whole like abortion thing in Texas is that it's slowing the just tidal wave of Californians moving to Austin and places like that, which is kind of nice. So it's like, out of anything, I'm like, man, I don't know if I necessarily have the strongest opinions on that one, but like, hey, at least it's keeping the Californians away.
Do you live anywhere near where Joe Rogan has that comedy club?
About an hour and a half.
Does that interest you at all, or like not your thing?
Yeah, no, I've actually been meaning to go down there. Like I've like a one night stand relationship with Austin. Like I would never live there, but they get a lot of like cool shows and music and shit like that. So I'll go down for like a night once a month or something like that. Just kind of enjoy it.
Dude, if Joe Rogan's cool, he's gonna hook up Louis with a bunch of spots.
Oh, that's rad. Yeah, the uncanceling of Louis has been really cool.
Yeah, Louis is hilarious.
If he's cool, or
if Joe Rogan's cool, he's gonna be hooking up Louis, getting him back in the mix, doing Or I'm probably wrong. I'm probably behind the times. I bet Louis is already like playing big places and whatnot. He's hugely popular. I don't know.
Yeah, he does his stuff on his website, right? Though, like he sells.
He was the first dude to do that super effectively. Like he was really the first guy who was like, do you guys recall when he released his special online and was like, hey, I'm really banking on people being honest and paying $5 for this special. This is a huge risk for me. I know you could all steal it, but please don't. And he made oodles of money.
Dude, it's just like Andrew Schultz.
That was pretty clever. He, you said it was $5. He just recommended. Like, he's like, look, you pay what you think you can. You can buy it for $1. I hope you pay $5. You can buy it for $10. And a lot of people did. Like, a lot of people paid the $5 when they could have paid $1. But
He's never been my brand of comedy at all. It's
not his old stuff even.
He was an old man when he started. It felt like he was already like a man beaten down by life.
2008, do that like.
None of it's happy. It's all sad and sort of angry in a sad kind of way. It's not even that sort of angry, like I'm gonna yell at the fucking stupid shit and be angry with it. You join me and maybe we get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's like we've all already lost the moment we were born type shit. Like we're pod people.
Well,
just moving. It's all sad.
He's very self-deprecating, and I like self-deprecating humor. It's funny. Yeah. I think he does a good job. Old Louis is hilarious. Like his specials from like 2008, I want to say, is tremendous.
The comedian I really want is Bill Burr post divorce. That will be.
I've been calling for that for a long time.
Think so?
Yeah. Bill Burr, if he gets divorced and starts hating women again, it's comedy genius.
We got to get him firing off.
So Amazon, I got a story. Amazon has removed books promoting autism cures or vaccine misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Is this good? Is this censorship? Yeah. Is this
there's a different, if someone's there's a fine line between.
Probably shouldn't start banning books. There's not a good historical precedent on book banning.
If it's snake oil, though, there is. Some books are harmful, and the real question is who decides what's harmful and not. But in this instance, they're literally selling the autism cures through things like magical stones and drinking and eating things that are poisonous. The stupidest people in society were the ones who were going to get that book, read it, and then poison their autistic child, right? So I don't see any reason for those books to exist.
Now, we can disagree with them all day, every day, but like I don't like that line in the sand of banning books.
When they start taking War and Peace off shelves and burning it, I'll buck up a little maybe, but autism cures through granola or whatever the fuck, like it's like you wrote a book of lies that can hurt people.
So you'll defend free speech as long as it's a literary masterpiece?
What if I wrote a book?
If it's one of the best books of the last 100 years?
That's not a high bar.
How about this? What if I write a medical textbook and call myself Dr. Kyle, and it's full of surgical techniques that I make up with diagrams that I print off the internet? I should be able to put that out there.
I've already contributed to your GoFundMe, and you haven't met your obligations.
Well, I don't know. Does Dr. Scholes have a medical license?
we need to pull all of these insults off the market. Do you know Dr. Scholl is a marketing gimmick?
So I have a little experience in the whole autism thing, and they prey on you. So imagine this, right? I'm going to make it about me. You're 28 years old. You just hear that your kid's autistic. You don't know what to do. There's a world of people out there offering cures that are very expensive, and parents testifying how it helped them. $100,000. And like, I almost felt like, am I an irresponsible parent if I don't roll the dice on this? Am I just going to let the chips fall where they may and not even try this guy's therapy, Dr. Scholes? And that's what these books do, right?
It begins in the feet. It's all about the feet.
They promise cures, they promise techniques, they're on the leading edge. And and by the way, you're not like an expert. You're young, you're a parent, you're emotional. This is your first time in this world, and these guys are experts at telling you. You think you're too smart to be manipulated. And I guess I was, but I could see how someone would fall prey to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see it.
So Amazon is being the censor? I could make the argument on the other side too.
Soap was considered a scam.
In India, it still is.
Yeah. You're telling me Westerners buy paper and then waste it on their toilets. Yeah, I am so sure. I am so very sure of this. Oh, you are so very, very sure that all these rich Westerners wiping their ass with paper.
I love that you made the V and W. They're very sure. I'm like, that's good.
What about the counter argument that banning it gives it an aura of credibility to some people who buy even harder into conspiracy theories? Like, oh, this is what they don't want you to see. It's so effective. Because
but what's the downside to that? If crazy people think that you remove, what's the downside? They're going to think crazy thoughts regardless of you taking the poison your child guidebook off the internet.
So if they can't be, I guess
like that, you can make a case that you're making them more crazy.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we give them the. All right, I'm gonna let you guys in a little secret. You caught me. This shit does work. All right, I'm gonna send you a few copies. Keep them to yourself though, and hey, do this stuff. Makes your dick bigger too.
Test it on yourself.
Then they all die.
Wow, sucking dick is the cure for autism.
But only my dick. And it's not that. Oddly enough, it's the hot mom of the child with the disorder that has to do
Not
it.
you. Get out of here.
As a matter of fact, no one else can even be present. Just the hot mom. And I specify hot because this is a very particular procedure. It only works with the right aesthetics. Don't put your phone away. Don't call the police.
If this is going to work, you're going to have to diet.
Yeah.
That'd be a good cure for autism. Lose 20 pounds. Oh, that's obviously that's fake.
Yeah. Nobody wants to lose weight.
No.
Everybody wants to lose weight. Nobody wants to earn weight loss.